This is one-on-one session with the ForumIAS founder and director Ayush Sinha. In this session, students are asked questions to test their preparedness for the personality test. One-on-one sessions are not mock panel sessions.
My conversations with them taught me a lot of different things in life, and I think that kind of had an effect on me, that I started engaging with conversations with other elderly people as well that I met. So, and then I realized that rather than just talking to them, I should also start to jot down their experiences so that this can be a learning experience for others as well. So currently I'm in the process of compilation of the life experiences of certain elderly people that I've met throughout my life. And I'm also trying to jot down their experiences.
So Anmol, tell me, apart from not from policy perspective, but from an individual perspective, what is the biggest challenge that elderly people face?
So, in the current scenario, in my humble opinion, from what I've seen, the biggest challenge is that of isolation and ignorance. The elderly people are facing this challenge because, given the fast paced life of today, they are thought to be not of much importance um, by the younger generation, and it is seen that their utility in our lives is being reduced, and that is one of the primary challenge that they are facing, and this gives rise to multiple other challenges. We see many mental issues that elderlies face these days, such as dementia or alzheimer's. All of that is also a repercussion of the fact that they are being ignored by the younger generation. So I think this isolation is one of the major challenges.
Anmol, it is said that both the state and market have conspired to break the nuclear family system. Can you think for a moment and tell me how?
So to break the nuclear family system.
The state and the market both have led to the breakdown of the nuclear families, a breakdown of the family system, making it further nuclear, the joint family system technically.
So it is a very valid argument that both the state and market have conspired to break the joint family system. We see, firstly, that because of searching for job opportunities, people do migrate to urban centers, leaving their parents and family members behind in the rural areas. This can be one of the reasons why the family system of today is being broken down. But in my opinion, I do not think that this argument holds much ground, because we've seen people maintaining their family system despite the challenges faced by the current market system. Uh, but I do believe that, yes, I would say, sorry, sir, you're
Now
not audible.
tell me how, what has the state done, what has the steps the market done? I'll give you a hint. So family provides you certain services. Okay. है ना?
Right,
The
sir.
family provides you certain services. For example, you're staying at home right now.
Yes, sir.
है ना? So now those services only family could provide. Some of these services the family is also providing, some of this the state is also providing, and some of these services the market is also providing. Therefore, there is no relevance of the family. Now tell me, think and tell me.
So, firstly, we see many services are now being outsourced to the market. For instance, we see the caregiving services, taking care of young children. All of those are being outsourced to the private players. But if we look at it, that the emotional connect and the emotional upbringing that the family members can provide, that certainly the market cannot replicate. And we see many of the challenges that the family system is facing today would not have arisen in the first place had the family system been intact as it was previously. For instance, we see that the love and care that grandparents can give to their grandchildren, that in no way can be replicated by the current market system that is present. So I believe that family system cannot be replicated by the market.
All right. You studied from Gujarat National Law University.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what is the test of a good law, Anmol?
So, a good law is that which is not arbitrary and which promotes the rule of law and in which reduces the instances of discretion by the authority that will apply the law.
Okay. You're aware that the government had brought in 3 farm laws.
Yes, sir.
Let me argue that these laws were not good laws in itself, and that is why they were repealed. Without going into the details of the law, my argument is that they were not good in law. The 3 farm laws. I'm not going into the details or the content of the law. Now tell me, and I would say that it does not pass the test of a good law. If I say that it does not pass the test of a good law, then how would you say that? Can you just refine your test of a good law then?
So, in my opinion, the content of the laws uh, did pass the constitutional muster and therefore they were good laws. In my opinion, the issue arises in the implementation of the laws and also how the law was made aware to the
No,
people.
Anmol. No, Anmol. So, is representation a sufficient criteria for democracy?
No, sir.
Representation is a criteria for democracy, but is it a sufficient criteria for? Is a necessary criteria for democracy, right?
Yes, sir.
Representation, and but is it a sufficient criteria for democracy?
No, sir.
So therefore, then what is a so representation was there. You said that it was passed by the parliament, which is a representative body. So the
Yes, sir.
principle of representation in framing the law was there.
Yes, sir.
But what else was missing by which we can say that it was a good law?
Sir, I believe the consultation with the necessary stakeholders was
That is very
missing.
good. Yes.
So,
So it
and
must, yes, the law must be made in consultation with those who would be
consultation with
affected by it.
yes, sir.
Now, all right. So first test it was meeting that it must be framed by a representative body. Fair. Then there should be a consultation with those who are affected by it. This test it was not meeting, and there is one more criteria of a good law which it was not meeting. How
Sir, I
were the
would
laws
say
brought?
so they were brought by ordinance and not by the parliament in its so they were brought by an ordinance and not by
They
parliament.
brought an ordinance. So was where the people made that the government is going to bring farm laws?
Sorry, sir.
So was this legislation put to public reason or public debate?
No, sir.
Yes. So the third test of a good law would be that it must be subject to public reason or public debate.
Yes, sir.
And also now we are having the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita.
Yes, sir.
So tell me 3 criticisms of it.
Sir, although the Sanhita has been introduced to let go of the colonial remnants and rationalize the laws, there do exist certain issues in it. The first issue that comes to my mind would be the inclusion of terrorism in the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and giving the power to decide under which law a person will be charged, whether it would be under the UAPA or Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, to a police officer of the rank of, not below the rank of superintendent of police. I think this is discretionary and this is one of the first challenges. The second one would be issues such as marital rape have still not been criminalized under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. And thirdly, certain offenses have still not been made gender neutral. For instance, the offense of rape, it's still not been made gender neutral. That would be the third issue that comes to my mind.
All right. You also like to write English poetry?
Yes, sir.
Who's your favorite poet?
Sir, I don't read much English poetry, but I would say that Robert Frost has been one of the most inspirational poets. But my major focus is on writing and not on reading
Can
much.
you recite a few lines of poetry that you've written?
Yes, sir, I can try. So, sir, I wrote this poetry when I first moved from my hometown to Jammu for my studies. Um, Out beyond the mountains, in the veil of snow, there's a place I call home. Beyond the Chenab, where the saffron fields grow is a place I call home. So these are the few lines that I can remember right now.
All right. So Anmol, you're from J&K. You have been selected into Jammu Kashmir services as well. Have you been selected in the administrative service or
Yes, sir,
which service?
administrative services.
Wonderful. So tell me three steps that if you were appointed as an advisor to the chief to the government, three steps that you'd focus on in boosting J&K's economy.
So the first step would be the development of infrastructure and connectivity in Jammu and Kashmir, because there are many areas in JNK which are still so remote that connectivity and basic facilities haven't touched in those areas. So which that would be the first step. The second one would be to improve the security situation. Although post abrogation of Article 370, security situation has improved, but we certainly see certain instances of radicalization of local youth, certain communal tensions. I believe all of that can be mitigated by the steps taken by the government. So that would be my second advice. And the third one would be to promote tourism in Jammu and Kashmir, because 60% of our economy is service economy, of which tourism is a major component. So I believe tourism economy would be promoted by me. For instance, we can have women-centric tourism or film tourism or even business tourism, as Honorable Minister of Finance had recently said in her budget speech also. I believe JNK has a very good opportunity of tourism. So those would be my three steps to boost JNK's economy.
Anmol, so J&K has now been bifurcated. Do you think it was a good decision?
The bifurcation of JNK certainly passed the constitutional muster under Article 3, as was held by the Honorable Supreme Court also. And secondly, from what we know, the people of Ladakh certainly had their own democratic aspirations, and they're
How
always.
about taking away the statehood? How about taking away the statehood? That has also passed judicial scrutiny and constitutional process. Right. So taking away, was it a good idea?
So
What do you
certainly
feel as a
not.
citizen of Jammu and Kashmir?
Certainly, it is not a very sustainable step, and it has certainly hurt the principle of federalism and also the democratic aspirations of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. But as the Solicitor General had also assured the Honorable Court during the hearing, statehood shall be restored very soon. And the reason statehood was taken away was, given the current security situation in Jammu and Kashmir, it was pertinent that the central government take the reins of the state in its hand during that particular time, because it was a very sensitive time in the state. And for that reason, the step was certainly in the right direction, the step to convert it into a union territory. However, now, given that the security situation has improved and people's democratic aspirations also need to be addressed, the statehood shall be restored soon, hopefully, and we'll also be seeing elections in JNK by September 24. So I guess.
Wonderful. Anmol, what is your motive? You are already a lawyer, then you went for J&K Civil Services, and now for the Indian Administrative Service. What is your motivation? It looks like you are always dissatisfied with what you have, and you're looking for more and more.
So that is certainly not the case. I have never been dissatisfied with what I had, but I've always aspired to be a better person and a better citizen. So in that, the motivation to study law was to be aware of the laws of the country and to ensure that um, I was never and to ensure that I could help people with my legal knowledge. Because coming from a state like Jammu and Kashmir, I've always seen what legal ignorance can hurt, how legal ignorance can hurt the people of JNK and of the country in general. And after completing my study of law, I realized that administrative services offered me that avenue to help the people in a much broader sense. and to ensure that certain issues do not arise in the first place if they are dealt with uh, promptly by the administration. So after and during my studies of law, I realized that administration offers a better option for me to help the society, and that is the primary reason I shifted to civil services. And despite the fact that I am currently in the Jammu and Kashmir administrative services, I believe that the Indian administrative services will offer me broader avenues to work for the people, not just of the UT of JNK, but of the country in general.
Wonderful, Anmol. Your interview is over.
Thank you, sir.
So, Anmol, how are you feeling, bacha?
So fine, this is my first one-to-one, and I guess I need a lot of speaking practice because I was really nervous. So yeah.
Were you part of any forum, other programs of forum?
So I was a part of the mains test series.
Mains guidance program. Okay, wonderful.
Yes.
In my opinion, you are doing quite well. Just a few suggestions I have. One is that practice and ensure that you do not say I believe a lot. I believe the words. That's a part of, when we talk to colleagues, you're talking to somebody very senior. You think of it that you're presenting your case before the High Court, Honorable High Court. And honorable judges are sitting. तीसरे बार में तो डांट दे देंगे. तो याद रखना कि ये जो लोग बैठे हुए हैं ना, they, I'll tell you a small incident. So when I was younger, I was making a card for my sister's marriage. So I just wrote to the chief secretary's name. I wrote Mr. X Chaturvedi, IAS, है ना. So my father scolded me. He said कि देखो ये चीफ सेक्रेटरी, इनके नाम के आगे श्री लगेगा. ठीक है, जिस दिन IAS बन जाते हैं उस दिन ये श्री श्री लगता है. Then the next name was Mr. Bhagat. So मैंने श्री भगत लिख दिया. And then again he scolded me. मैंने कहा कि ये तो चीफ सेक्रेटरी नहीं है. तो आप क्यों हो रहे कि नहीं, ये अब ये कमीशन के मेंबर हैं, तो इनके आगे माननीय लगेगा. हम लोग आपस में भी जब तक हैं, रिटायरमेंट नहीं हुई है तब तक, और ऐसे भी हम लोग माननीय कहते हैं इनको. ये सारे दोस्त ही थे मतलब. ठीक है. तो द पीपल हु आर टेकिंग योर इंटरव्यू आर ऑनरेबल, मतलब उनको इनविटेशन कार्ड में भी ऑनरेबल नाम से जाता है. ठीक है. सो दैट इज द गैप. Even if they have not become chief secretary, they are now senior to the chief secretary of any state. They are even senior to the cabinet secretary. Okay. I believe becomes a Mr. Raghuram Rajan's interview. I believe the economy is doing well. It's not a press. बहुत पहले एक मेरा स्टूडेंट था सचिन गुप्ता. आई एम नॉट श्योर इफ यू नो हिम. थर्ड रैंक आई थी उसकी कॉर्पोरेट लॉ सर्विस में. सो ही वर्कड अ लॉट ऑन दिस. सो एवरी टाइम ही यूज्ड टू से आई बिलीव. आई थिंक 2018 बैच में गया होगा. तो फाइनली फ्रॉम कॉर्पोरेट लॉ ही मेड द जज एंड ही गॉट अ थर्ड रैंक दैट ईयर. तो इसको थोड़ा सा ठीक करना है. सेकेंड इज I try to ask you some difficult questions where thinking is difficult on the feet, but I just because we had the questions, so I'll just discuss the answer. So a test of good law, see, Napoleon gave the test of good law is that a law which is so concise that it fits in a court's pocket and so simple that it is understood by a peasant. That's okay. But we can also say that, sir, a test of a good law is that it should be framed by principles of representation. Second is it should be framed by consulting those who are going to be affected by it. And the third is it must be subject to public reason.
Yes, sir.
For example, if the commission awards makes a rule that people who are less than 5 feet 3 inches, chalo, wonderful. My best wishes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Good day.